What's up, and welcome back to Storytime with AJ. I'm your host, AJ. First off, my apologies for not uploading these last few weeks. I've been busy doing grown-up things, which suck, so we won't talk about them. But if you must know, I was building a fence and installing windows on my house. I know, right? Super exciting. Just enjoy your youth and realize when you get older, you're going to have to do shitty things on the weekend instead of get drunk and bone chicks. All right, this week's story is going to be about what an awful employee I was at one time in my 20s. I don't know. Let's just jump right into it. So I got fired from my pizza delivery job that I had been working for like 4 years because I showed up late one too many times and, well, I overslept my alarm. Anyway, so I'm without a job and I'm just couch surfing. So this place my buddy's working at is a call center, and he says he can give me a job, no problem. So this call center actually does like roadside assistance. And what they basically do is you break down and you call in, and then I look up a preferred vendor and send out a tow truck to either, give you gas or give you a tow to a repair shop. So I get the job and I start and go through training, and there's really stringent rules, right? You can't just like fuck about. You got to like actually answer the phones and get off the calls within a reasonable amount of time. You only scheduled breaks, so if you got to take a piss, it's not like you can just go to the bathroom. It's kind of draconian, to be honest. Well, if you know anything about me, this doesn't sit well too well with me. So immediately I start breaking the rules, right? I'd hang up on customers, like when we're done with the call, and then just leave it in what's called after call, where you're supposed to just type in notes and kind of finish up any documentation. And I just straight leave. I was smoking cigarettes at the time, so I'd go like outside and smoke a cigarette, or I'd go take a shit and sit in the bathroom for like 2 or 3 minutes. And my thought was at the time was, man, if I can just get past the 90-day mark, then if they fire me, like I can collect unemployment and start looking for a better job. Well, this plan doesn't go too well, so I started getting good reviews, believe it or not. Because, I'm nice on the phone, right? I can play the part. But they're taking a real interest in me and are like, man, you can go far here. And I'm just, fucking about, basically, the whole time at work. So then I started pushing the boundaries a bit and just, like, pushing it, see how far I could push it to the limit. So they wouldn't, this is back in, like, 2004, and they didn't provide you internet access. You only had what was, like, intranet access. So it was often, like really useful to like look up, I don't know, like a motel or something for these people that had broke down way away from their home. So I suggested that we all get internet, and they said that they weren't going to do that. But eventually they set up like stations like at the end of all the rows, so you could go log on there and like surf the internet to find, different things for customers. Well, this wasn't good enough for me, so I somehow got my hands on a supervisor's login, and they had internet. And so I would log into the computer next to me on this supervisor's like computer login, and then just have full internet access. So I'd be watching games. I used to even pull up porn on these stupid things. And I'm still getting good reviews. I figured out the review process, right? Everything's done on a metric. So what you would do is in your first interview or your first review of the month, you do super shitty. And then the next one, you just like button it down. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're getting so much better. You're doing such a great job. But you know me, so I'm like, let's turn it up another notch and see how far we can take this. So there's a guy at work that is allergic to latex and made it like apparent to everybody. So for all the holidays, they would have Mylar balloons instead of regular like balloons to try and celebrate shit with. So at the end of the day, I'd like steal all the balloons and take them back and give them to my girlfriend and shit. Oh, look what I bought you. Isn't that nice? The other thing you weren't supposed to do is eat on the floor. But I'm like, fuck that. So they had like snack machines in the break room, and we found a way to jimmy the doors on like the refrigerated food. So we would steal all the food out of there and pass it out in our row and let everybody eat it. The supervisors would have like weekly meetings, and they'd always cater the meetings. So I would go in there and like steal the food from the supervisor kitchen and then hand it out in my row too for everybody to eat. The funny thing is I'm still getting like awesome reviews, and I actually get offered a promotion to do tire sales for Pep Boys. It's like an auto parts store, and instead of taking the time from the maintenance guys in the back to talk tires with people, they thought it would be a good idea to do a test program where if you called into the store and hit a certain prompt, you'd get routed to me. It was great, actually. I got like a $2 an hour raise, and I would work from like 10:30 until like, I don't know, like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So it was like a perfect like party work schedule because I could go out and get smashed the night before and sleep in. The other thing that was cool was I worked with this guy named Gabe, and now Gabe had like this old doctor that he would go to, and he had all kinds of problems, right? He was like, had anxiety and a bunch of other shit going on with him, like back pain. So this dude had like the pills. He had like Valium and fucking Percocets, just like any pain pill you can imagine. This dude had like a full-on supply, and his insurance paid for it. So he paid like $2 a month for this shit. So I'm taking pills at work. I'm sleeping under my desk with my headphones on and just getting up, you know, once I hear the beep in my ear, and like just totally fucking about. The other cool thing is my new supervisor totally has a crush on me. She totally wants to fuck. I mean, like, I'm not just talking like she, you know, I can kind of tell she likes me. She's like sending me notes like, come over to my house, let's do this kind of shit. So I don't want to ruin a good thing. I just play it off like, yeah, I don't date coworkers, but you know, like we'll see what happens. I don't know, you know, just kind of string her along. Like, but she would always give me heads up, you know, hey, you gotta watch this or you gotta watch that, so I wouldn't get fired. So during this time, the tags on my car expire. And I mean, I don't have the money to re-register the car. I decided like I'll get a temporary plate. This means like you could log on to the website and like download a temporary plate to get you from point A to point B to get it fixed, and then take it to the DMV or the Department of Motor Vehicles to get it registered. Well, what the DMV didn't know at the time is you could right-click on these temporary license plates or these like trip permits and save them as bitmaps. So I thought this was fucking genius. On my work computer, I downloaded GIMP, which is a free software editing. And what I did was I downloaded these temporary plates, and then I just cut and pasted the watermarks over the dates, and then just would change the dates. So I had like this constant flow of fake temporary plates that on first blush look great. So let's review what an awful employee I am at this point. I'm drinking on the job. I'm forging state documents on the work computer at work. I'm taking pills at work. I'm sleeping under my desk. I'm stealing stuff from work. I'm stealing food from work. I'm disobeying about every rule in the rule book you can think of, including the dress code. So did I get fired for any of these indiscretions? No, I didn't. In fact, they wanted to promote me to supervisor. The way I did get caught and the way I did get fired was actually because I was bragging about drinking at work. I didn't even get caught drinking at work. I was just bragging about it, and they brought me into the office and asked me about it. And I didn't really feel like working there anymore, so I was like, yeah, I was drinking on work. You're going to fire me? Great. Now I can collect unemployment. And that was that. But it actually led to me getting into construction and turning my life around, actually. That was like the start of the upswing. But it does make a pretty good story, huh? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I'll be back when I'm back, and you guys have a good rest of your week. Peace.